Well, this is Dr. Toni Alvarado, and I am excited to invite you back to another episode of Harmonize Your Life, Conversations on Self-Care for Women of Color podcast. And we have a very, very exciting show today. Well, thank you for joining us. I want to introduce our guest that's going to be sharing with us on today. This young lady, I am just so excited to have her with us in our podcast studio. Felicia Redding, who is our guest on today, is an amazing holistic health coach. And I'm going to share just a little bit about who she is and what she does, and then we'll get into our conversation. Okay, so Felicia Redding is a health coach that specializes in helping clients realize their God-given potential. After years of struggle with weight, asthma, allergies, and emotional issues, Felicia began to look for solutions to help her feel better. Felicia is a certified holistic health coach, certified at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. When she graduated from the Integrative Institute the Nutrition Institute, she still admits that she struggled with weight, and she tried every diet that you can imagine, is what she says here in her bio. After her desire for optimal health led her to a journey that allowed her to discover the way that she eats and how it made her feel. And finally, after realizing that, Felicia began on a journey of wellness. And we're going to talk today so Felicia can give us her journey of wellness. She is a Navy veteran, and we thank you for your service to our country, Felicia. Serving in the Navy as a hospital corpsman sparked her desire to care for others. She is also very, very passionate about aromatherapy, oil blends, respiratory blends, calm down and breathing blends. Felicia is also certified neuromuscular massage therapist at the Atlanta School of Massage. She has a Bachelor of Science in Physical Education with a concentration in health promotion, certified holistic health coach, Master of Arts in Human Services and Counseling, Master Herbalist, and now her newest certification is she is a Yoni Steam Practitioner with the Yoni Steam Institute. And I believe you just finished that one, right, Felicia?
Yes, ma'am.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, welcome to our podcast. Welcome to the Harmonize Your Life podcast, Felicia.
Thank you for having me. I'm really glad to be here.
Well, I am delighted to have you on the podcast. Delighted to have you as one of our guests. We share a similar passion for wellness. We share that passion for wellness and holistic living. And so I am excited to be able to talk to you today about your wellness journey, and for our listeners to hear your journey and where it's taking you. It's taking you. Look at where you are today from where you started.
Yeah, God is good. When I look back at, where I was 10 years ago or even 2 years ago, it's been amazing. It's been a really good journey. And like the older people say, I won't take nothing from my journey now. Like, I appreciate every bump in the road and everything that I've experienced because it's made me who I am today. So, and it's also allowed me to help so many other people along the journey. So it's been amazing. So.
Now, my book, Harmonize Your Life, A Journey Towards Self-Care, I talk about the fact that self-care is a journey. Mm-hmm. Recently, I was we were in dialogue with Debrina Jackson Gandy, and she talked about this being like a spiral upward, a upward spiral. And it is a journey. And you have moments in the journey where you feel like you really are making some headway or success in the journey. Then there are other times you feel like you're stagnant, and
Right.
sometimes you feel like you're going back in the other direction, right?
Yeah.
And so I like what you said in your bio when you talked about the fact that even after going through and getting certified as a nutritionist, how you still struggle with your own weight.
Yes.
And so, and I can attest to that, sometimes people think because you're on this journey that you do everything right, that you know all the right things to do, that you always feel like you're in the right spot or you're in that sweet spot on the journey. But it is a journey, and it's an everyday proposition. So talk to us about your journey. Just, we're talking today about your wellness journey. So share with us about your journey.
Well, if I go all the way back, then it would start when I was in the Navy. I went to the Navy right out of high school. I think I graduated in June and I was in boot camp in July. So,
Mm,
with that, when I went in, I initially wanted to be a registered nurse. I wanted to, start my career in healthcare. And I said, okay, this is going to be a great stepping stone. The Navy is going to pay for me to go through college and everything is going to be wonderful. So, I started and I went to school in Great Lakes, Illinois. That's where I got my hospital corpsman training. And I was on fire until we had our clinicals at the VA. And it was a humbling experience because I saw so many veterans, that were being mistreated on the ward, and the bedpans, the diaper changes. I said, no, I don't think that this is cut out for me. I don't think I
okay.
can do this.
Yeah.
Um, and so my first duty station was Paris Island, and that's Marine Corps boot camp facility, and
Mhm.
that's where I really got my passion for really helping people. I was able to see and diagnose patients because in the Marines, the Navy provides all of their health care, and so we
Mhm.
we were given more responsibilities. As
Okay.
far as, even though we were enlisted, we were given, I was able to see and diagnose patients. I was out in the field with the Marines. I loved it. That was like my environment. Um, so I got to see more of the clinical side. And then with the military, you're able to go into different areas that you probably wouldn't if you were on the civilian side,
Mhm.
because you have to kind of adapt and overcome to your situation.
Okay.
So once I did direct patient care on the ward, taking care of mothers and babies, uh, just about any place you can name in healthcare and in the clinical setting. I was able to go in and experience that and work with those patients. And so I was able to kind of narrow down where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do with my life, so to speak. Um,
Okay.
so through that journey, I decided that I did not want to be an RN, because it wasn't necessary. If I could automatically just skip and specialize, then
Mhm.
okay, great. But the med surge rotation and going through all of that,
Yeah. Yeah. You know my story, right? You know my story of going to school for 4 years to be a nurse. Remember, I shared that in the book, and I talk about it in several of my writings, and just in my journey when I talk about just my life and that period of time in my life where I went to school for 4 years. I went to nursing school for 4 years, and like you, I got down to the clinicals, and I could not. I couldn't do it, and I realized no, this was not for me. Right?
the blood
Okay,
and all
so
that. Like,
we have that in common.
like, no, ma'am, I can't do it.
So
So
where did you go from there?
I got out of the military because I was starting to take college courses, and I was diagnosed with asthma when I was 21. And what I did not know is that it was hereditary. And two of my aunts on my mom's side, they have asthma, and they didn't get it until they were older. And
Okay.
so it was just, I was taking a physical readiness test, and it was so hard for me to breathe. It took me like an hour for my breathing to go back to normal. And
Okay.
so with that, I went through all the testing, and by the time I got out of the Navy, I had to get out because I was with asthma. I was unable to deploy.
Okay.
So, so by the time that I got out, I was on like 10 medications twice a day. It was horrible.
Wow.
So, I didn't want to take all that medication. I was like, okay, something has to give because this is a lot. And
Okay.
so I got out, I came back home, and just trying to get a job. And so I just did a customer service job, and that really stressed me out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To where I think at this time I was at Total Grace, and I had a nervous breakdown. It was really
Mm-hmm.
bad. And so I said, okay, something has to give. And so my mom was like, well, why don't you just go to school? You got your GI Bill, just go ahead and finish school, because I had already started, taking classes
Mm-hmm.
and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I went to massage school first. So
Mm-hmm.
I said, I still wanted to take care of people, but I just didn't want to work in that
Understand.
direct paycheck setting.
Yeah.
And you had like 3 tracks that you could go to. You could either do the clinical track, which I did, or you could do the Thai massage, which is more stretching and Reiki and all of that kind of like
Mm-hmm.
work. And then you could do the spa, which is mainly, what you would do in a spa,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
treatments, body treatments, and all of that. And
Mm-hmm.
so I said I want to keep my clinical track. And so I really enjoyed massage school. And after I finished, I said, well, you could take a supplement to do spa treatments. And so I said, okay, well, let me do this, just kind of, make it
Yeah.
a bit meaty, I can balance.
Uh-huh.
And I was introduced then to aromatherapy. And
Okay.
it was like my world opened up, and I said,
Okay.
oh my God, I said, I can actually, God has all these wonderful things in the earth that I can use to make
Yeah.
me feel better, and I don't have to take all these drugs. And
Yeah.
I started researching all of that, and I started combining different oils and different things, and using my diffuser. And when I one day I had an asthma attack, and I said, well, let me try this. And so instead of taking my inhaler, I decided to just burn those oils in the atmosphere, and I instantly felt better.
Wow.
So
So the whole, that's how you got into the whole aromatherapy piece?
yes,
Wow.
yes, trying
And
to
you
make
know, I
myself
love
feel better.
aromatherapy. I love aromatherapy. I love burning my oils
Yes.
and just, it just does something to you, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It is absolutely. What's one of your favorite aromatherapy blends?
It depends on how I'm feeling. But
Okay.
I have a few. I experiment on my family and friends. I've been experimenting for years. So they're my guinea pigs. So I'm like, let me blend something for you. Like if something is wrong with somebody, I'm like, wait, let me research it. Let me blend something for you. And I have my cousin, a younger cousin of mine. He's always in trouble. He is the most hyperactive child I have ever seen in my life. I love him dearly, but he is very hyperactive. And so, his mom is out of sorts or whatever. And I said, you know what? Let me research and let me see if I can blend something for him. And so I have a oil now called Xavier's Elixir, and because his name is Xavier, so I named it after him.
Okay.
And he has severe ADHD, but when we burn that oil for him, he calms down.
Wow.
And to the point to where the teachers, could tell, they were like, what are you doing for him? Because his behavior has gotten so much better.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
so it's powerful. And even with aromatherapy, um, you can tell, like, I know if you smell a certain oil, you may not be feeling it that day, but a few days
Mm-hmm.
later, you really loved it. And
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
your body craves different things, and your body
Okay.
knows what it needs. And so you may like eucalyptus today, but 2 days down the road, you may not like it. You might like, geranium or something like
Okay.
that. And so
Okay.
your body will tell you exactly what it needs. The body is just an amazing thing
Yeah.
that God
Yeah.
has made it, and made us. And even
You're
with
fearfully and wonderfully made.
yes, yes, and it's just so amazing the different things that your body will tell you about yourself if you just tune in and just listen to what your body is telling you.
Wow. Okay, so Felicia, you said in your bio that you admit that you struggle with weight even after you finished the Institute of Nutrition.
Hmm.
So so talk to us about your struggle with weight. Like, why did you struggle even though you knew obviously what to do, right? Going through the program, the integrative nutrition program, I'm sure you were taught information.
Yes, a lot about just about every diet you can name, whether it be vegan, whether it be keto, just anything you can think of, we learned. I think it's about maybe 200 different diets that are out, and we learned about each and every one,
Mhm.
and what they were and how they affect the body, and different foods that went with each one. Like, we learned all of that. So I was armed with so much knowledge. Um, I think my major roadblock in all of that, it really wasn't what I was eating. It was how I felt about myself. Um,
Oh,
because that's
talk
because
about that. Talk about it. Yes.
I think that well, I know that if you don't feel as if you're worthy of these changes, then you'll never make them. And I felt like I
Wait
wasn't.
a minute. Don't wait. I always have to stop my guests when y'all drop something like that because we got to go back. Sometimes y'all drop good wisdom or nuggets and then y'all just keep moving. But there needs to be a pregnant pause right there. Say that again, what you just said.
So if you don't think that you're worthy of those changes, if you don't feel like you're worthy of the success of weight loss or whatever goal that you have, then you'll never make them.
Did you hear that?
Because
Did you hear what you just said?
there's something in your spirit that's saying, I'm not worthy of this. So I don't even need, it's a blockage there. It's not gonna, so you have to, I had to go through this process to really heal. And I tell my clients, I say, if you don't, it's not necessarily about dropping the physical weight. It's about dropping the spiritual weight, the emotional.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah.
like, work through, and until you work through that,
You're
you
ready. You're not ready.
right. Until you
Hmm.
work through that, then you'll always have that same problem.
Yeah.
I went through, a traumatic relationship and a breakup a few years ago, and it was an abusive situation, and it was just day in and day out. You can't do this. You're not worthy of this. Da 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 da. It's just the way that he made me feel over and over and over. And so after I had my little girl, I said, I can't show her this. I have to show her something better. So
Mm.
God used me to give her life. He also used her to save my life. Um,
Oh,
so, and I don't want to cry. So
it's okay. You can cry.
let me right there. But
That's okay. Listen, if you want to cry, we'll cry with you.
okay, okay.
The Bible says, rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those that weep. And I have a feeling that your tears are probably not even sad tears. They're probably
No,
tears of joy.
they are. And I'm just so
Yeah.
thankful to God for everything that I have experienced these past couple of years. And I also want to stop and I want to personally thank you because um, you're pushing me and you telling me that I need to go back and dance and pick up those things that I had thrown down because I just I had been so hurt in previous ministries, and dancing and and working in ministry, that I said I just wasn't going to do it anymore. And so when the first one of the first things you said when we went to our first counseling session was, dance practice I think is on Tuesday, you need to be there. I need And I remember going and getting in my car, and I was like, man, why is she making me do this? I do not want to do this. I said I wasn't going to dance no more. And it was like, as soon as I got back, everything just, and it was just, and that was the start of my healing. It just opened me up to experience so much more of God. And, and I just want to thank you for that. And just about every, um, every level in my healing, God would speak to me first, and I would pray about it, and I'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to do this, but I need some confirmation. You would get behind the book board that Sunday. Me and God talked about, and I was like, okay, all right. Sunday, this past Sunday, and I was just sitting there, and I was just crying. I was like, she got me again. She got me again. So thank you for not only being my spiritual mom, but also being my spiritual midwife. I love and appreciate you say that publicly. You don't know how much you have impacted my life. And if nobody has told you that over the past couple of weeks, I know it's been hard. We've been quarantined. We haven't been able to see each other. But I just want to speak life to you and tell you thank you so much.
Oh, Felicia, thank you. Thank you.
You are
Thank
definitely
you.
making a difference.
Well, girl, and that's one of the reasons I started this podcast. I had no idea when last year I had it in my heart to do this podcast last year, and this way leads on the way, and I didn't do it. Procrastination,
Right.
and I just didn't step out on it, and I think it was a little fear as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't step out on it, but I this year coming into 2020, I knew I had to do it. Mm-hmm. And I was actually pushed by the women who attended my self-care retreat in January. And so several of them were saying, we need something from year to year because, I do the retreat in January every year. And then, so it's at the top of the year. So some of the women were like, what are we going to do throughout the year? And then I was like, you know what? This would be a good time for me to start the podcast. So that way, as women can come to the retreat in January, and then throughout the year, they'll have the podcast and different things that we're doing. That prompted me also to start the self-care network, the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network. All of that was birthed out of my desire to see women of color whole, holistic living, well. When I say well, and I'm studying, I'm doing some studying right now as well. Right. And just looking at the difference between the medical model and the wellness model, and how the wellness model looks at every aspect of our lives, spirit, soul, body, physically, how, all of that, the totality of who we are. Whereas in the medical model, most times they're going to just look at your specific medical condition.
Right.
And to the medical community's credit, we're seeing more of the medical community involve what's happening with people mental health wise. When it comes to their physical ailments, now they're also looking at other aspects: social wellness, physical wellness, mental wellness, occupational wellness. All those things are financial wellness, spiritual wellness are part of this whole idea of being well, And so that's why I'm so excited about what you're doing. And I'm so proud. I've seen you come through. Just your own struggle with weight. And even since you began, you've lost weight this year. I've just watched you transform. And I've seen your weight change. I've seen you go through being pregnant as a single woman, having a baby and raising your daughter as a single mom, and all of the emotional stuff that went with that, the breakup, the relationship, everything. But yet, because you have determined to live a life of wellness and wholeness and live holistically, I believe that's why you've been able to overcome many of those challenges. So Felicia, talk to us a little bit about this whole your business, what you're doing right now in the whole this whole wellness journey.
Okay. I founded, one day I was just in prayer, and one of my favorite scriptures is 3 John and 2. Beloved, I wish that you would prosper in all things and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. And it just stuck out to me. And I said, okay, God, what do you want me to do with this? And so when I began with Institute of Integrative Nutrition, IIN for short, um, they also showed us how to set up a business, and so I set up my website, and I started out as, okay, I'm going to see clients, and I'm going to see clients, and I'm going to start Destination Well, and
Mhm.
so set up my website, and Well is God gave me Well as an acronym, and
And what does that mean?
Well stands for wholeness in every level of life, and
Wholeness in every level of life.
yes.
Okay. And why is that important?
Because just like you talked about before with the wellness wheel, some people think about wellness as, I just want to lose weight, and that's where they stop.
Hmm.
And what we have to realize, like we talked about before, is every part of your life. It's
Every,
not just fitting into those skinny jeans. It's about, have you worked through those issues that you have inside? Have you forgiven those people that you were supposed to forgive? Is it
exactly.
it's about what you eat. It's about what you consume, not necessarily with your mouth, but what you're looking at, what you're listening to, the friends that you have around you, the family
Hmm.
issues that you still may have that you might need to
Hmm.
go to counseling for. It includes every part of it. Sometimes we don't eat, but we go and we shop a lot. So
Hmm.
it's about every part of your life, and so it's
So
about
wholeness
all
in
of
every area of your life. And
that.
that's
Right.
so good. Um, um, we oftentimes do not realize how integrated our lives are.
Yes,
And what I mean by that is we often forget that what's happening with me physically is connected to what's happening to me mentally. What's
absolutely.
happening to me mentally is connected to my relationships. Have I forgiven? Have I, done that work, the work of forgiveness? Have I done the work of working on myself, my self-esteem? When you talked about earlier that you couldn't lose weight because you didn't feel like you were worthy
Right.
of losing weight or living a holistic lifestyle. So
Yes.
I appreciate the whole approach that you're taking, Felicia, this whole destination to wellness. So when you're working with your clients, what are some of the aspects, what are some of the things that you're finding that your clients are coming to you with?
Most of the time, people are just overwhelmed. We always, like I said, we always talk about, losing weight, but we never talk about the other stuff that prevents us from losing weight. So we just talk about that even before we get into, what did you eat today or anything like that. I'll ask them, what did what was your home life? What's your home life like?
Mm-hmm.
Um, what's your work life? What do you do in the course of a day? And we go and we talk and we just talk. And sometimes I've always been that type of person that people just love to share stuff with me. So
Okay.
people just, they just go deep. I've seen people that meet me, the same day, and within an hour they're telling me, traumatic things that happened in their childhood. And hey, you just met me. But I realize that that's just something that's a gift that God has given me, to just listen to people, and I'm able, and God has given me a gift to where I can just reach to the heart of the issue, because it's a root cause. It's the reason why your behavior is this way. And I can say, and I can pinpoint it. Okay, this right here, this is what it is. Let's work right here. And
Okay.
um, and then we just go from there. And I think that this journey, it should be fun.
It
It's going to
should be.
be
It
hard, some
yes.
parts, but trying new foods, going
Yeah.
into new things, you'd be surprised what you can do if you just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you just
So
wow.
So, and even, because through this journey, I was also vegan for 2 years. And
Okay.
I remember when I first went vegan, I was living with my mom at the time. And one of the ladies at the church that I was a member of, she first, before I went to IIN, we were just talking and everything. And she had like little small tumors in her brain. And she was
Wow.
able to reduce those tumors just by doing a plant-based diet. And I was
Mhm.
like, okay, well, maybe you can help me or whatever. And so she introduced me to juicing, doing smoothies, and
Mhm.
doing a full body detox. And so we went to a herbalist that she knows, and I did that, and I juiced and I did smoothies and I ate plant-based for like 21 days. And I think I lost so much weight. And so I went on a journey of just, first I went pescatarian, and then I said, okay, I'm just going to,
Explain what that is, because some of my listeners may not know. Mm-hmm.
being a pescatarian is just eating fish
Okay.
and seafood. I'm allergic to shellfish, but I ate a lot of fish and vegetables. So
Mm-hmm.
so it's like a vegetarian, but you add fish to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I did that for a while, and I said, you know what? And I just kept scaling down. So I said, all right, let's go vegetarian. And being a vegetarian is you eat everything except for meat. So you can still eat eggs, you can still eat dairy.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's vegetarian. And then I finally took the dairy out and I went full vegan, or plant based, as some people call it. Vegan is more of a lifestyle where you don't have
Mm-hmm.
where you don't wear leather or anything produced by
Mm-hmm.
animals. And then plant based is just you're eating those foods, but you're not necessarily caught up in the I can't have leather and all that stuff, because I still
Okay.
wear leather shoes. I'm sorry. So I went vegan for a few years, and it was a great experience. I love to cook and I love to bake. So I was able to do all the different stuff, raw foods and tofu scramble. I make some buffalo tofu that is so good. And people are like, that's disgusting, but it's so good. Um, I make slam and vegan lasagna. Um, so I just had fun just doing all that stuff. And I remember I was living with my mom at the time, and she was like, I'm eating meat. I don't care what you say. And I was like, that's fine. But I was like, try these lentils. And she was like, oh, this is kind of good. And so when I finally moved out and got my house that I live in now, she was just like, well, who's going to cook for me now that so I still cook for her. I still cook
And
for
I
her.
love lentils, girl. I love lentil soup. I like lentil burgers. And my daughter-in-law, Jasmine, she makes these she like puts the lentils in like a little I guess you know how the little meat pies that people buy? They
Yes, you make it most.
so she makes them with the lentils.
Mm-hmm.
And
They're good.
oh my God, they're so good. I love them. And so yeah, and I'm like you. I only eat fish, chicken, and vegetables. I don't drink anything other than herbal tea. You know me, tea time with Dr.Toni. I only drink tea and water. I drink no carbonated drinks. Have not drank a carbonated drink in so long. I can't even. I think it's been about 25 years since I've had carbonated drinks in my diet. And so yeah, so I get you, and it is a journey, and it should be fun. It should be a really fun journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
After
appreciate you for making it fun and creative. I look at you sometimes. I follow you on Facebook and on Instagram and Twitter, and I see some of the recipes that you put out there, and I grab some of them and try them myself. So you've made it really, really fun. Now you have a baby. You have how old
yeah.
is Leia?
Leia is 2.
Leia is 2. So
Yes.
does Leia eat like you?
She well, I had to add meat back to my diet because I got sick.
Okay.
Um I am anemic, and I found that out. I just wasn't feeling well, even though I was eating, vegan, and I thought that was the optimal diet for me, but I just wasn't feeling well. And so I just started back eating meat. So now I'm more of a paleo. I eat. I don't eat. My optimal diet, because I don't always get it right, but my optimal diet is a little bit of meat and a whole bunch of veggies, no dairy. So
Okay.
that's
A
how I.
little meat, a whole bunch of vegetables and no dairy.
Right. Hmm.
And I'm sure water, right?
Yes, I drink a lot of water.
Same
Um,
here.
every once in a while, I want a soda, so I don't drink soda, but I love, love, love club soda. LaCroix is my friend.
Okay.
I, drink that, and I discovered a love for kombucha. So, which is
Yeah,
also.
now I was just introduced to kombucha recently. Jasmine, of course, I have my children, they're very eclectic. Jasmine and Jonathan and Ariel, so they introduced me to all this stuff. Kombucha, they just recently introduced me to that.
Yeah.
Good, good, good.
It's
So
kind
so no dairy, a little meat.
of. Hmm.
How often do you eat meat? Like I only eat meat. I generally only eat meat once a day. Like for me, it's either going to be lunch or dinner. Maybe every now and then dinner and lunch. But I hardly ever eat meat for breakfast. And so, but I usually do because when I eat breakfast every day,
Hmm.
but I rarely eat meat for breakfast. I usually have like if I'm not making a shake, then I may have like this morning I had an egg white omelet with tomato, spinach, and feta cheese. I may have a bowl of raisin bran. My cereal that I like is raisin bran, and I'll drink that with almond milk. And then I recently started putting like fresh fruit in my raisin bran cereal. So I may put some blueberries, some fresh strawberry, fresh blueberry on top of my cereal, and then put a little almond milk. And that's just kind of giving my raisin bran cereal a little more creativity and flavor.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, but so I always have breakfast, and I tell people all the time, you have to have breakfast. That is the foundation, and then I usually do like I have a snack and then lunch, another snack and then dinner. So, do you do meat more than once a day?
It depends.
Okay,
I kind of eat intuitively, so I kind of go off of what my body is telling me it needs for that day.
okay,
So
okay.
sometimes, if I get up and work out and do an early workout, sometimes, most of the time, I don't eat till after like 12. Um, so I will, usually I'll have breakfast then, after, my workout,
Mhm.
and then I'll have like another meal, and then
Mhm.
that's pretty much it for me for the day. I just kind of like because
How you
you know
feeling?
it's usually like 3 meals or 2 snacks, but sometimes I'll get up in the morning and I'll feel like I want breakfast, and so I'll have breakfast that day early in the morning, and then I'll
Mhm.
eat throughout.
Okay,
So, and then sometimes I won't eat till about 3 o'clock. So it just depends on what my body is telling me that day. So,
okay, okay. Okay. And so for you, you kind of listen more intuitively
yes.
to what. Okay. Good, 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 good. I want to talk about because our time is getting short, and I want to definitely. You got a lot of certifications, girl. You got this massage therapist certification. Of course, your Bachelor of Sciences in Physical Ed. You got certified holistic coach, health coach. Um, Human services and counseling in health and wellness, master herbalist, and we talked a little bit about that, the herbal thing and aromatherapy. But now you just finished this Yoni steam practitioner. My chiropractor is also a Yoni steam practitioner as well. She's added that to her practice. Talk to us a little bit about that. Why did you go into tell everybody what that is, and then talk to us about why you went into it.
Okay. The Yoni steam is a phrase that people, it's usually, the Yoni is a term that's usually used in African medicine. Um,
Mhm.
so, and it's the African word for womb, or basically what it is it's a womb detox. Some of the indications that you would use for a yoni steam would be, for me, the reason why I started doing it is because I have fibroids. And that
Okay.
was one of the reasons why I was told that I would not have children. But I have a
Okay.
2-year-old. Glory be to God. So,
Mhm.
um, so that was why I started getting yoni steams. They're called, the Asian community calls them hip baths, and
Okay.
and so I would go down to Jeju in Gwinnett County, and I would go and every month faithfully after my cycle, I would go and I would get a yoni steam or a hip bath, and
Mhm.
I noticed that with that, with when you have fibroids, you have heavy bleeding. That's also one of the reasons why I have anemia. I would just be drained and tired, and
Yeah.
it was that
Yeah.
time of the month, and
Mhm.
I would just my body and just I would just go through all these changes, and
Yeah.
so once I started steaming, I noticed that my symptoms every month were not as severe. So I
Okay.
said, okay, well, there's something to this. Let me, do some more research.
Mhm.
Um, in that, you know, we give life. Women give life,
Right.
and so your womb for a woman is that area of creativity. That's your seat of creativity. If your womb if there's some things going on in your womb, then you can't create as much as you would if your womb was clear. Some of the things that we hold in our bodies. As far as unforgiveness or pain and trauma, is there in your womb. And so I so that's one of the things that you can do to kind of clear that trauma. Of course,
Okay.
going through your work and counseling and prayer and
Mhm.
exercising,
Mhm.
eating right.
Mhm.
But that is also, not only is it a physical not only is it a physical therapy, but it also can reach you spiritually. Um,
Okay.
and I've seen women pass fibroids in there. I've seen women who want to have babies and have fertility issues be able to
Okay.
have babies, and just overall womb health.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
that was something in indigenous communities that happened all the time. If you had a baby, you were going to get a steam right there
Right.
directly after
Exactly.
you had your baby.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
it's something that we used to do culturally in Africa, but when we were moved over, a lot of the things that we did culturally were stripped away from us. So because they were not understood.
Is it similar to when we were growing up? We would have the douchebag and the
Yeah, the
I know, but I'm saying, is it similar to, is that the whole concept? Is that it, or is it similar to that? I'm just asking because I really am asking for information.
No, it's not necessarily similar to that.
Okay.
But what because that's with a douche, when you squeeze that bag, the water just kind of goes up there, and
Okay.
it stays. It doesn't
Right.
drain down.
Uh-huh.
And so if you have, and so when it does come down, it's taking that good bacteria out. And
Right.
so a lot of people that's why
Which
they
I
say
noticed people have gotten away from doing that because
right,
of that.
right,
Mhm.
yeah,
So
because
what?
it
So what
eases
is the
you up.
process? What's the process of the yoni steam? Can you share?
Sure. If you were my client, and then what would happen is we would set up an appointment to talk. And during our consultation, we would talk about your cycles. We would talk about your daily life, your diet, and different things like that. And I would take the information that you give me, and I would do an herb blend specifically for you. And
Okay.
um, and then I would either show you how to do it at home with COVID-19. It's kind of hard to,
Mhm.
for you to be able to visit or people to visit me.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so I would show you how to do that at home. In regular circumstances, I would come to you, and
Mhm.
I have a box that is called a Yoni steam throne. It looks like a
Okay.
just
Okay.
regular box.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I would set you up,
Mhm.
set your atmosphere with aromatherapy and different things according to the issues that you say that you have, or just overall wellness.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
would customize a blend for you. And then I would set the atmosphere. I give you a robe to put on, and then I steam a pot. That pot of herbs. I would
Mhm.
put it inside the stool, and then you would have a seat with your robe on, and the steam would come up, and you just kind of sit on that. The box has a hole at the top, and it would just come up, and it would just go into your yoni, and it would treat whatever issues that you have, or just for regular wound wellness. So the herbs that I give can tighten, can tone, especially if you've had a baby or trauma to your womb. So it would tone your womb up. Also, if you suffer from things like endometriosis, polycystic
Mhm.
syndrome, or something like that, then it could also assist with helping those issues. So also, if you have issues with constipation, if you need to just detox your body, those I can give you those herbs, and they can go through your womb and affect the rest of your body.
So, what about women who may have had who are past childbearing
Mhm.
and have had maybe surgeries, hysterectomies, tubligations, things of that nature? Do you work with women like that as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. So even though, if you don't have a womb anymore, there are still herbs and different things and different blends that I can use, especially like if you're in menopause and you have,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
you get your womb, you go right into menopause.
Hmm.
So, and I can do herbs that'll actually help with your, uh, what's it, hot flashes, or what you call
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
it?
Uh-huh.
Uh, I
Hmm.
I can take care of that as well. So just
Yeah.
overall feminine health.
And
I
that pelvic floor, just that whole
Yeah,
pelvic floor. Hmm.
like your pelvic
Wow.
floor, all of that.
Wow, Felicia. This is amazing. And all of this stem from your own wellness journey.
Yes.
Wow. And you know what I love about that? What I love about that is I believe that ministry flows from who we are.
Absolutely.
I believe that we're most impactful in ministry when it flows out of us, when it flows out of our story, when it flows out of our own life experiences. That's one of the reasons I'm so passionate about self-care, health, and wellness is out of my own
Yes.
journey.
Yes.
And so I just think it is so important when we flow, when ministry flows out of us. I think that's when we're most impactful. Listen, our time is up. We have had such a wonderful conversation with Felicia Redding. I want you all to follow Felicia. I'm going to put her stuff up here. So her website you see there is destinationwell.org. Look her up. She's on Facebook. She has a Facebook group page. Destination Well, and Well stands for wholeness in
And
every area of life. Wholeness in every area of life. Destination Well. You can look her up on IG. She's on Instagram, Holistically Felicia, on Twitter at Destination Well. And I want you to know that she's also a member of the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network. She's one of the members of the network that I started for women who care about self-care, who care about themselves, and who care about other women, and
Yes.
wanting to bring this information. These are some of the women who are a part of the network. Many of the women that you hear on my podcast are a part of the network. Not all of them, but many of them are. And so I just want you to know what you get when you are part of the Harmonize Your Life Self-Care Network. And if you want information on how to join the network, go to my website at drtonialvarado.com, and you can join the network there on my website. We are changing the narrative for women of color.
Yes.
Okay. That's what we're doing. We are not going to take it. We're not settling for the narrative that we are number one in every disease, in
Yes.
heart disease, in different cancers, in diabetes and obesity and hypertension. We are not settling for that. We are taking our health and our self-care and doing something about it. First, we're doing the work of forgiveness. We're doing the work of putting past failures behind us and self-defeating talk and self-defeating thoughts. We are doing sacred self-care in the Harmonize Your Life self-care network, Women's Self-Care Network. Be a part of that. Come on this journey with us because it is a journey. Felicia, thank you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being on the podcast today. I appreciate you. I appreciate what God is doing in you and through you. You know, I love you. I love my baby Leia.
Yes, we love you back.
I miss you all. I can't wait till we can get back in the sanctuary and I can see you dancing and waving them flags.
Yes, I'm ready.
Girl can wave some flags. I'm telling you, she's
ready.
knocking the devil upside his head. Okay. And so I can't wait until we're able to get together again. But until then, you know, I am so proud of you. I'm so excited about what you're doing. I'm going to call you when this is over because I need one of them blends. Yes, ma'am.
I got you.
You got me. I got you. And so we got y'all call her. Let her mix something up for you. She's certified in this aromatherapy and herbalist. She's certified in this. She's certified in the Yoni steam procedure. She is a certified health and wellness coach. And so you can find her. You can find Felicia at all those places that that I shared with you already on our screen. All right. Thank you again, Felicia.
Thank you for having me. I love you.
I love you too.